Hey guys, it's me. I'm back. I have had probably one of the most productive self improvement weeks in a very, very long time. But this isn't about that. This is about taking agency no matter what you choose to do. I am very, very strange by perspective of many of your educators and the people that you talk to because I don't really. That's not true exactly. I want you to choose to do things. And in my mind, it's better for you to choose to be a bad person than to just kind of accidentally end up one. I know that sounds crazy. On the one hand, I would love it if you chose to be a good person. I would love it if you chose to do good things and but I'm still going to respect people who choose to be bad people more than I respect people who just are bad by accident or default or don't do something that they should have done. So, there's a couple of you who I know who are actively at least working towards some sort of bad thing you want to do. And I respect that. I know that sounds bad as an adult and an educator and someone who is hopeful for you to do good in the future. But at the same time, I would much rather you have become the person you were supposed to be intentionally. It was arm day. Sorry. That's why I keep switching hands. I did lots of arm exercises today. Okay. So the way I think of it is the difference between fate and destiny. Fate is this comes from a role playing game. Sorry about that. Fate is the worst thing you could be. Destiny is the best thing you could be. You could have a great fate and mediocre destiny. Like for example, Hitler could have had his fate was to be one of the greatest mass murderers in history. His destiny could have been to be an okay painter. The best he could have done would have been being just this lame, painter who was not terribly successful in his life. And the worst that he could have done, well, we know what that was. There is a lot of promise in my students. There are a lot of my students who had incredible amounts of promise and who have the ability to do amazing things. And in the tiny country of Sweden, they have the possibility to do those things, and I have the possibility to hear about it. That's another thing that's very different about the U.S. and here, is if my students are amazing, and then they might be in the newspaper or they might be on the news because they did some amazing thing. And like for example, I have a student who's not particularly dexterous, but he has some physical abilities that make him one of the best at a sport in Sweden. One of the best. Just because of some genetics. That's really cool. But at the same time, were he in a larger place, then he probably would just be okay. Like, I had some really, really tall students in the US who played basketball because they were really tall. They weren't good at basketball because they weren't, they didn't work at it and they didn't put in the effort. But they were really tall, so in high school they played basketball, and when they were done with high school, they just stopped. And nobody, it's one of those things where you can forget a skill that you did when you were in high school if you don't really care about it. Whereas the people who actually care about it and have the ridiculous genetic ridiculous genetic advantages, those people will continue to do amazing things. Sports is very different than it was when I was a kid. It used to be that you could get by on just skill and talent. and that you didn't have to have ridiculous genetic advantages. But the problem is that because we have globalized and because we have changed and grown and we have all these extra chemicals and stuff, that people are better suited and we're more likely to find those people than they were in the past. We break Olympic records regularly now. Regularly, almost every Olympics, they're breaking a record that happened in the past, even when those people in the past were exceptional, because we're picking from a larger pool. I got pretty far from what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say is that you should be everything you could be, you have the possibility to be. And if you're going to be bad, be the best bad that you can be. If you're going to choose evil, it's much better and honestly much more respectable for you to be the best kind of evil that you can, the most active kind of evil you can. I know that sounds bad, but no, it really doesn't. But it kind of does. Anyway, be the most you can be. Even if I don't agree with you, even if other people don't agree with you, even if I try desperately to keep you on the path of good, I recognize the appeal of bad. I mean, I don't think I've talked about this before, but my basest impulses, my normal, like the way that I think and the way that I would probably be if I weren't choosing actively to be otherwise, is bad. I have been bad in the past. I've done some really bad things. And I mean, not the kind of bad things where like I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, but actual bad things because I didn't realize that they were bad. That's not an excuse. They were bad. If I thought about it, I would have realized they were bad. Anyway, active choice. Make an active choice. And a discussion with a student who shall remain nameless, who was talking about their ambition was to be lazy. I was like, that's cool. But if you plan it right, you can be even lazier. If you set it up right, if you do the right things in the right order, then laziness becomes even more powerful, and you can do even more with it. So even if your quest is to be the laziest person ever, there's ways to be better at it. Planning can help. Planning can help anything. This is a weird one. Anyway, beep boop.